And welcome to The Bottom Line, where we unpack some of the main business and economic stories of the day. We don't need to reiterate the significance of the 2025 German elections. Now we await to see the changes. Will Friedrich Merz bring back Europe's economic powerhouse? Obviously, it matters to the Germans, but it also matters to the EU and to the Central and Eastern European region in ways that may seem less obvious. I'm now joined by Boysen-Hogrefe, Deputy Director at the Kiel Institute, to tell us more. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello.
So a potential new, better chapter for Germany under Friedrich Merz could open after a good few courses of GDP contraction and industrial struggles. What are the chances that this will happen? The bar is set very high, and I'd like to just have a look at a graph with the GDP figures for the last quarters to give our viewers some context. What are your thoughts?
Well, several of the bad news won't vanish even after this election. So China is now a major economy that is where industrial production, manufacturing goes up quite rapidly, and it's this is really in deep contrast to Germany. And now China's industry is now competing in fields where Germany was quite successful previously. Car manufacturing, machinery, equipment, and this won't go away, even if the ministry, or even if when the election can bring some change. That's one aspect, and the other one is that we have a blocking minority of rather radical parties in the German parliament. So they can stop any change to the constitution. And this will make it hard to come up with really deep reforms, reforms that might be needed with regarding the debt brake, or also with the federalism in Germany. And the federalism in Germany might also be a problem regarding bureaucracy and red tape. And so it's not that easy to come to quick solutions when it's about deregulating the economy.
Well, this is the fiscal policy reform that is expected to play a key role in ensuring that there is some kind of economic recovery. So you don't expect that this debt brake will go away, but there must be some sort of fiscal policy reform that will have to be implemented.
Yes, indeed. So Germany, the deficits were quite high in the previous year. So, and if the debt brake would not change, we would face would have to face austerity measures in a time where we need extra defense spending, in a time where we need extra spending on the infrastructure. Part of this spending can be done by measures that are already available or possible under the debt brake, while the former government was not really willing to take them, since they would imply that the parliament would lose some kind of say to these projects. It's more likely that the new government might be able might be willing to accept these kinds of measures. Regarding defense spending, it's a bit more complicated. It could be that the new government will call for an emergency case and to fill the gap for the current year and maybe the next year. But this cannot go on forever, and so we are in trouble. And maybe if no other opportunity is at hand, we need a European solution to finance additional defense spending. And that's, of course, unpleasant when Germany needs the help of others to do something that it should do on its own.
But my understanding is that Friedrich Merz is very determined in terms of increasing defense and military spending. Obviously, that would be a natural way to boost arms manufacturing, and obviously Rheinmetall would benefit from that. And also, Merz is very aware of the fact that Europe must be ready to defend itself now that the US is less keen on defending Europe.
I think many politicians in Germany are really aware of this, and they want to change it. But it's not that easy, given our constitution and given that we have a blocking minority of the hard right-wing and left-wing party in the German parliament, and it's so one needs a bit to think about it. Of course, it could be a good opportunity to sound strange, but when we ramp up our defense spending, and it could be that this comes at a time where it would be quite helpful for the German industry, for the German manufacturing sector, if it works out that we can shift parts of the manufacturing from maybe the automotive sector to the defense sector. Ramping up government expenditure would not end up in additional inflation, and this would be very helpful also to have to popularize such a policy. But again, it's a matter how to finance this, and it's not really easy, given that the outcome of the elections were not that favorable than they look at the first place.
Just taking a step back, what do you consider as an absolute priority or priorities in terms of what Merz should do, keeping in mind that the Germans' expectations are running incredibly high at the moment?
Of course, we need a drastic change or we need a drastic change regarding security policy, regarding defense spending. We have to ramp it up. That's one aspect. Another aspect is we have to deal with, we have to reduce the regulation. We have to deal with red tape that has to be reduced substantially. And of course, we need an environment that is more likely that investors show up in Germany, and also maybe in fields and areas and branches that are not that are new to Germany. So in former times, we could rely on our manufacturing sector that was quite successful for many years, and we didn't have to adapt. And I think this is now different. This crisis, this structural change now may not be a structural change that can be handled within the existing companies and firms, within the existing manufacturing sectors. We need maybe to attract new sectors, and this is also a matter, of course, of regulation, but also of financing new investments. And a lot of things to do for the government, since now we have to invent maybe a whole new industries, and nobody knows, or at least the government should not think that it perfectly knows what are these new industries, but they should guarantee that there's the environment where new industries can pop up and show up.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the sort of red tape issues that the government should address?
Well, this is first of all, Germany, due to the federalism, due to so many parts have a say. It's quite a complicated system overall, and so we should do something about that. But also we should take more risks. It's about technologies that are regulated in Germany with respect to genetics, or also if it's about data security, we have quite tough regulations. And this, of course, is when you think about AI or others, new inventions that take place, or that where it's highly likely that new industries will show up and pop up. These kinds of regulations might hamper the most promising fields of innovation. And we should, simply take more risk, should be maybe more risk-loving. And of course, that's unpleasant, but given that our industries, old industries are currently failing, it's hardly to come up with an alternative when we want to keep some of the well-being and the wealth that Germany accumulated in former times.
And I wanted to ask you, do you think that the new German government will be willing to use frozen Russian assets to rebuild Ukraine, keeping in mind that Scholz's government was definitely against that?
I'm not sure about that. So I'm not an expert. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert on this. I could imagine that things now are different, given that the geopolitical setup is different. The US is behaving different. And of course, things are shifting and changing at the moment. But actually,
Too early to say.
Too early to say, and I'm not really an expert in these kinds of. So sorry for that.
That's okay. No. So moving on, just as we wrap up, what are the prospects and the vision for green and nuclear energy for Germany, keeping in mind that Merz's priority is economic growth and business?
And unfortunately, decisions in the energy sector typically take some time until they really show effects. So when Germany would say we return to nuclear power, new nuclear power plants, maybe 10, 15 years later, we will have them. Rebuilding the old ones could be a bit faster, but the impact would be also not too drastic. So this is something, again, where we have to say, even if we are willing to change, it will take a bit until we have positive feedbacks. What is quite helpful, maybe, is that renewable energies now is really massive build up there, and hopefully if we are able to bring this into the net and additional investments are done in this field, maybe this could have an impact in 2-3 years, up to so a bit earlier. But in the end, I fear that energy will never be a factor that really favors manufacturing and industry in Germany. So we will rather be for the upcoming years. It's rather a problem than something that will really say this is a reason why you should invest in Germany. Unfortunately it's the way it is, and it's no quick solution maybe at hand. Okay,
Jens, we'll have to end our conversation there. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
And we were joined by Jens Boysen-Hogrefe, Deputy Director at the Kiel Institute. Thanks so much for being with us today. And I was your host, Marie Caso. Join us every weekday for Business Arena at 5 p.m. CET on TVP World. And for the latest in regional business, follow us on X and on tvpworld.com. And for more news and features, stay with us on TVP World. Goodbye.